You guys, welcome everyone to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward. Today is absolutely no different. You guys, I have a thought-provoking conversation for you all today, and it is to educate you on the power and the necessity of the feminine. Yeah, we're going to be talking to the feminine today. I don't know, any of you have daughters or sisters or aunts, or I know you have a mother. This is to really emphasize the significance of the woman and the purpose that she has in the whole schematic that we call life. It's to empower women. This is completely to empower women and to speak to the women's strengths. It also is not to act as if we have no weaknesses and to highlight some of them as well, but not to really put an emphasis on them, but to highlight them so that we can engage upon conversations that will empower us in overcoming them. She has had a monumental walk, tremendously monumental. When we think of the feminine, we can think of both Eve, the mother of us all, the biblical storyline that is conveyed in the Judeo-Christian Bible, or even any Judaic text that have to do with these Hebrew people, all surround the Adams. When I speak to Adam, I'm speaking to Adam's all of the generations that have came out of Adam and Eve. They are considered the Adams of the world. It is spoken to in chapter 5 of Genesis. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man in his likeness, of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. So all of which we find in any contextual literature pertaining to the Hebraic house are specifically spoken to the Adamic line, the line of the lineage of Adam and Eve, okay? And all the generations that follow. That's a no-brainer. But I really want to get to how she became so paramount, how all of this began, and why she has been so hidden. She's been hidden, y'all. If anybody has gone underground and been hidden and attacked, it has been the woman. If you think Adam's struggles are monumental, you don't know nothing about Eve's struggles. See, Eve's struggles don't get broadcasted. Eve doesn't have a voice. She just has to get through it. She has to figure it out. Eve is not the one that goes and wars with the nations. She has to move much more subtly. Yet she still finds a way of getting it done. When the Bible picks up and introduces her, there's a mystery surrounding her from the gate. From her initial entrance in the biblical text, there's mystery surrounding her. When we look in Genesis chapter 2, we see this mystery. And it says here, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof. And of course, he uses the rib to create Eve. Eve, from the beginning, is shrouded in mystery to Adam. He knows nothing of her creation. Nothing. All he knows is he wakes up and he's had something altered within his physicality, and voila, here she is. And he proclaims that this is who she is. He gives her a title and a place within his kingdom, because this kingdom is Adam's kingdom. He gives her a title and a place. He says, this is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And it ends it with the man and the woman were both naked, he and his wife, and they were not ashamed. They're in total agreement to this. Adam knows he knows really not much of Eve's creation, yet he embraces her. He's okay with that. He trusts her regardless, because she is a gift to him from God. He knows nothing of her capabilities. If he doesn't know her creation, y'all, if he's not privy to the goings on surrounding her creation, he cannot know what she is capable of. All he knows is the end result. And that end result is that there was something that was altered within him when she was created. And now they both come together in their interaction with one another. And in that coming together, something else is birthed through that. That's the most he knows of her. And then comes the serpent. Now, I'm not here to get all boggled down with the storyline of the serpent. We've heard it before. I've gone into detail about it many times. But the serpent found Eve so important to deceive. We've got the first example of someone risking it all for this woman. This is the first example of an entity, a powerful entity. The Bible and the Apocrypha convey the power of this entity. He's the wisest in the garden. He's the wisest in the realm, the earthly realm. And he comes upon this woman knowing he's the wisest, y'all. He knows that there's going to be some pushback by crossing the line with this woman. He premeditatively seeks her out to cross a line with her, to cross the commandment of God. He premeditatively does this. He sees the risk worth it for this woman. And he does so. He crosses a very detrimental line. A line that he will never be able to recover from. But he feels that the risk is worth it. In the long run, this will be worth it for him. So he does it. And in him doing so, it alters the state of both he and Adam. He chooses her because he knows something of her that Adam doesn't know. Remember, this serpent is the wisest in the garden. He's the guardian of the knowledge. He knows the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. He knows far more than both he, Adam, and she, Eve. And he risks it all to intervene in a situation that was exclusive to both Adam and Eve. And he chooses Eve because he knows something of Eve that Adam doesn't know. Surely he knows that she is the vessel of which all life is given. All life is birthed in this realm through her. And also he knows that she has a power innately within her that God gave her. She hasn't stolen this power. She hasn't conjured it from the enemy. She didn't wish it from some devil. She was crowned with this power by her creator. God would create it that way. There would be no one else besides her that would have this innate ability. And the serpent would know it. You see, the serpent would know because the serpent was around when everybody was created. This is God's next in command at one time. We haven't even gotten further along in the story when all hell breaks loose. We're just dealing with Adam and Eve. We're dealing right now with this feminine aspect, this woman that would get turned by this serpent. And in her turning, that she would turn Adam and they would both fall into the world of physicality. The decision that Eve would make by way of the serpent would take them from their ethereal life on this planet, within this realm, into a slowed down, condensed, mundane physicality. How do I know that? Chapter 3, verse 7. After she is tricked by the serpent, they immediately recognize what has happened. There is a response to what they have done. It is a physical response. Chapter 3, verse 7 of the book of Genesis. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So what the Bible is conveying is a condensed version of a long situation that has happened over time. They have now fallen into the world of physicality. They're clothed by skins. We got skin, right? This is a skin body, a meat suit. But the skin gets cold sometimes. And now they must begin clothing themselves. At first, they were naked in spirit. They were mating. They were already mating. The Bible conveys that they were mating. Verse 4 of chapter 2 of the book of Genesis. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Well, how would he know that? To declare that if he's not already experienced that? Is he just imagining this? No, he's had this interaction with her. They've already had a physical interaction. And they didn't see themselves naked. But something happened. Something tangible happened amongst them by way of the serpent turning them. And now they're condensed down. They have fallen, physical fall as well, into the world of physicality. And they are subject to the laws of the world of physicality. A whole new set of laws that they never were subject to before. And they're naked. And they're wise enough to know that they're naked now. No longer are they fully trusting of one another. They've come into another type of realization. One in which they must now hide aspects of themselves that they saw all the time before and never thought anything of them. But now, after this act has happened, when they see that aspect of themselves, of one another, it makes them feel a kind of way, so they have to hide it. This will become more pronounced as the text goes on. This is just the initial glimpse of it, but this mindset will grow and it will fester, mostly in Adam, in the male portion of Adam, not so much in Eve. Eve would have a way of controlling it. It would be as if Eve would be able to wield it better than Adam. She would not, in a sense, fall victim to the power of it as much as Adam would. And not only Adam, but all other inhabitants of this realm and that guard this realm. This power that Eve would have and come into the knowledge of would be a power that would be universal to everything in this realm. She would wield this knowledge, and it would reverberate throughout every facet of this reality. That's how powerful she is. How do I know that? So when we look at what happens directly after that, and God comes into the garden and he notices something's off, and he asks Adam, "Where are you?" And Adam says, "I'm hiding." And God asks him all these questions. Why? How do you know you're hiding? And the blaming game begins. And God God asking Adam, verse 10 of chapter 3, "And the Lord called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree where I commanded thee that thou shouldn't eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat." Now, the problem is not that she gave him anything. I know many people want to make it seem like that, and I know God said, because when he is chastening God, and when he is chastening Adam, he's saying, because you hearkened unto the voice of your wife. But could it be that Adam was listening to Eve all along? Remember, Eve is Adam's helpmeet. Adam is not Eve's helpmeet. Eve is created to help Adam. So Adam is doing what he had been doing all along. And this is the reason why the serpent came to Eve. It would be out of order for Adam to contend with the serpent or to interact with the serpent. First of all, the serpent would not be able to procreate through Adam. And second of all, the serpent, in giving Adam the knowledge, would not empower Adam any further than what he can get through Eve. Eve would immediately correct Adam. This is why she was created. She would immediately have a rebuttal to any of his responses. But because she is the mystery, Adam knows nothing of her creation. God created it that way on purpose. The Bible says that he put Adam to sleep, and the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. He doesn't know anything about her outside of what she is when she comes upon him in her holistic state. The Bible does not convey that Eve grew in her knowing from that point on. It states that she was who she was when she met Adam, and they were happy until this serpent comes in, and he is the giver. He doesn't as much give the knowledge as he gives her an idea. He gives her another way of looking at something that is already there. That's what he's done. Whether it's another way of her looking at herself and using her innate gifts as weapons against Adam. Now she's weaponizing what Adam should normally be given and bestowed naturally. She's weaponizing it. And in her weaponizing it, Adam is now subject to her in a sense. So much so that she no longer can walk around naked. Her nakedness is a distraction to Adam. Adam cannot function in his godly highest state in this organic environment around his helpmate any longer without falling victim to the powers imposed upon her just being her. He's seen another aspect of her that has invoked an idea in his mind. And as ideas always do, it takes root and it grows. And now Adam is perplexed and he is obsessed with her. This is the power of her. I'm not talking about dolling yourself up and sashaying around and all that kind of stuff. You don't even have to do that. I'm here to tell you, God has this thing set up in a way where the Adams of the world, if the Eves are not prevalent and there's only one there, he will go against the grain. He's programmed. She's not safe. This is what was done. This is the information that was given by the serpent. It was an idea. He gave her an idea. And an act happened. And now they can't undo it. And she's okay with getting beyond it. She can put it in its rightful place and not let it dominate her life. She's not obsessed with Adam in that way. But Adam can't do it. He can't compartmentalize it like she can. It completely enamors him. So much so that God had to put her under him for him to even have some kind of advantage in the situation. And I know many of you are going to say, I'm over here just talking because I'm a woman. And well, I'm talking because I've wrestled with these things. I've wrestled with wondering about him, as you should as well, all of you Adams. You should wonder yourself, how, why? When we look at the serpent and we look at the rib, God created Adam, and then God says, I'm going to give you a helpmate. The animals didn't work out. So God now says, I'm going to alter you. And when I alter you, I'm going to take your rib and use it as a tool in which I will create Eve. You see, you gotta watch these words in the Bible, y'all. The words are what will get you every time. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto Adam. He didn't say, the Bible does not say that he took this rib and formed the woman by way of the rib. He said it does say that in a sense, and that is truthful to what I'm saying. But the Bible doesn't say that the rib is innately a part of the female anatomy. It says that he took the rib and he made a woman. Just like I say, okay, I'm going to take this spoon and I'm going to make a cake. The cake doesn't have the spoon in it. But I used a spoon to make the cake. Without the spoon, it would have been much more difficult for me to make the cake. I'd have made a bigger mess. But the spoon is the tool that I use each and every time I make a cake. This spoon is synonymous to me making a cake. Or another spoon fashioned in the same form like it. It's the same way with this rib. This rib is the tool that Adam would always use to procreate, to make him and Eve one flesh. That's what the Bible is conveying. So we got the rib and we got the serpent. We got these two individuals all interacting with Eve. What are the differentiating factors between these two? Not individuals, but two things. Well, the rib can't talk. It doesn't have a mind. It doesn't think. It's just a rib. It's a tool. You handle it. It does not handle you. But the serpent talks. The serpent is deceptive. It slithers. It moves. The serpent can constrict and it can relax. The serpent has a mind of its own. It has a lower nature. It's a lower natured being. It's always on the ground. You never see it up in the sky flying. It dominates in the lower regions. It knows the lower regions really, really well. It has a tongue. It uses its tongue to sense its environments. It has a flicker in its tongue. I'm just telling you what it does. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? And it is, like I said, deceptive. It's wise. It wants to have its way. It feeds on your ego. It feeds on your lower nature. This is what she's up against. And now this is what Adam is dealing with. Adam, after this interaction, would have a very hard time standing in his calling, because now he is having a tremendously hard time dominating the lower nature that has come upon him by way of this serpent. This serpent will compromise Adam's decision making throughout his entire walk in life. He will make decisions that will not serve him based upon the serpentine knowledge that he got from this lower natured snake. And Eve would have the same knowledge, but she would be able to control it. It would not dominate her the same way. It would not. So we see that the serpent risked it all for Eve. The first one, the serpent. And then we go further. We see the results of their actions. They're all punished, kicked out of the garden. Now they got to go make it on their own. They got to go make their own decisions. They got to work out the knowledge that they have been given. They must go out and be fruitful and multiply and procreate and expand themselves in the world. All of these children of Adam. And Cain would come and he would slew his brother Abel, and all the generations from that would come until we get to this crescendo where the people are populating the earth, and we now are at a place where Noah has been conceived and the world is populous. And then we get to a junction in Genesis chapter 6. And we got the fundamentals to what God will do next on deck. We got Genesis chapter 5, verse 32. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So the Bible is conveying that and pinpointing Noah because God will do a mighty thing through Noah in the upcoming chapters. And they're conveying all of the lineage of Noah because these will be the lineages of people that will be created to continue on in the earth. This particular bloodline will be the bloodline that would be saved because God would flood the world. And the reason for the flood will come directly after this particular verse that I just conveyed to you. Because in chapter 6 it says, and it came to pass, when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. This is where the fallen ones come into play. Many of us think the fallen ones came into play when Eve fell in the garden. No, this is an ongoing attack on her. Ongoing. The first attack is in the garden by way of the serpent, the lower nature, causing her to deviate the commandment of God. And they're kicked out of the garden. They no longer see themselves the same. They're ashamed of themselves. Adam now is having trouble unknowing what he knows now. Eve can't walk around Adam in her normal state anymore because it makes Adam feel it's a big distraction. All Adam can do is think about her, all of the Eves. That's all he wants is the Eves. So much so that now she needs to put on some skins and some fig leaves to cover portions of her up so she can get stuff done. And then we see the snowball effect of this. We do not see her having the same struggles that Adam has with this. And then we see 3 chapters after that the angels that were in the first heaven, that were here to keep order and to deliver messages to God of what's going on amongst the people, to hear the prayers of the people, and to determine what prayers went to where and how quickly and with what urgency. These angels have now become enamored and obsessed with this woman. So much so that they traded the glory of God for these women. They made a conscientious decision to trade the glory of God, to risk everything so that they could come down here in Adam's creation to be with these women. The book of Enoch, chapter 6. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied in those days, were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. He already knew. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together, and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. All this for she. I'm bringing all of this up because it's fascinating. The power that she has, whether she knows it or not. If she knows her connection to God, the greater the power and the more fine-tuned it is. She is standing in the totality of her creation. Yet if she does not know it, she's still powerful. She'll be powerful in a destructive way. She's destructive in that sense, but powerful. This is a Sumerian depiction of what one would consider the tree of life, but you have two individuals guarding it. Above, you see the tree of life, and then there's one individual there with that pine cone and that purse that you always see them carrying, and then there's another one that looks just like that on the other side. This is a depiction. There's many of these things. They're very, very common. I'm talking about thousands of these things. These same depictions, depicting this thing of these two mighty individuals guarding and controlling this tree, this feminine aspect. How do I say it's feminine? Because it's giving birth to fruit. It's feminine. God will put two locks on her. On Eve, on the feminine, all of the females, all the feminine women of this realm. She's so powerful that God would have to guard her with two locks. What are the two locks? Adam and God. God would have to guard her with two locks, y'all. She's so powerful that she would need to be manned because her power is so tremendous. And what makes it even more fascinating is that anybody can't just manage her. God would create her in a way where, first of all, she would be self-managing. But even outside of her ability to manage herself, she's self-managing when she's aligned properly. This is the beauty and the majestic nature in which God created her. When she is aligned properly, She self-manages. She does not need to be managed or handled. She's completely accountable. Completely. It is when she is misaligned, when any aspect of her is out of order, when she's being manipulated by an outside expression, an outside source, that this power can become extremely volatile. It will take one wiser than she, and that knows the characteristics of her power to manage her, or else it will be completely chaotic. She's like a nuclear power plant. I'm telling you. It looks quiet and empty and, it looks one way, but it's not that. One wrong movement, one wrong someone that's handling her that doesn't know her nature can cause her to be completely destructive, completely out of her element, completely counterproductive to all that God had created her to do. This feminine woman, this woman is a major weapon. And God made her the only one that can compete with his glory. God made it that way. And a lot of the things that we are seeing happening in the world, where there are relationships with one another that are counterproductive, they all stem from broken aspects a lot of times within her. Because when she is at her whole, when she's at her, just in her general state, she is fruitful, she is abundant, she is prosperous. There's nothing better. There's no better goodness. There's no better place to be in the world than in her presence. This is why God gave her to Adam. Yet, this also is why God did not allow Adam to know the science of her creation. This is exactly why God did not allow Adam to know all of her capabilities. Why? Because just as the Apocrypha says, and I've read many times, and please don't make me break it out, Adam didn't even know himself. Adam's life work is to learn himself. She is his gift in him finding who he is. Without her, he could not ever find who he is. She is the most vital component to Adam being Adam. So much so that when a particular perspective of her has been shown to Adam by way of this serpent, intermingling himself in their stuff, Adam has become obsessed with the lower nature of himself. And all he wants from her is that particular aspect. He's obsessed with it. We see kingdoms coming and going because of this. We see King Solomon. David had done a monumental thing in the earth. Passed it down to his son. Even David was not exempt from the power of her. The king had done monumental things amongst men, stood in the integrity of God, but when it came to Bathsheba, She was the only one. His lower nature weakened him. His son Solomon inherits the throne. God loved Solomon, was patient with Solomon, gracious with Solomon. How many wives did he have? It became a status symbol. She went from the power behind the throne. She is the one that crowns the king. He doesn't crown himself. She crowns him. A king that's not crowned by her is a paper king. He's fronting. She gives the power. But what has happened with this turning of perspective, this shifting of ideology? They have become obsessed with her. She can't even walk around now. We see this in chapter 6 of the book of Genesis. She's not even able to go and fetch water without the angels swooping down and trying to obsess over her. She's not safe. This is where you get the coverings, the hiding. She dominates by the glory of the flesh. She's glorious by nature. But because of the perception, she was just as guilty as Adam in partaking of this knowledge that the serpent gave. Yet she's able to control it. Adam cannot. Adam can't. The angels could not. And they are not even subject to the same laws as Adam and Eve. These people have seen God. They're God's soldiers in the earth. All because of her glory. They give up the glory of God to partake of her glory. I'm just telling you the truth. All because of perception. It's not that she's enticing them. She probably was afraid. Because if it's anything like it is today, she gets victimized by certain men when they can't have their way. They become bullies. What we see in these many depictions of these individuals manning this tree, they're manipulating it. They have her in a controlled environment where they are manipulating her power. So you have a situation where God has put her on two locks. God and Adam managing her. But then it gets even worse than that, because then the serpent comes in. And he's partaking. And now we got these 200 fallen ones that done came down. And they're partaking. And she goes completely underground. This is why God established that. I'm going to read. This is what makes the book of Isaiah chapter 50 make more sense to you. Thus saith the Lord, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away? Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities have ye sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away. Your mother is not the problem. She is not the problem. It is her children. that have fallen in this state of mind that does nothing but want to manipulate her, force her to grant them their wishes. It is of the feminine that produces the fruit. So they will force her. They will man her and manipulate her to get a particular output from her. And this is why God said, I put her away. You were abusing her. You abuse her. She's a gift. Without her, you have nothing. You can think you're all big and bad and yeah, my name is such and I'm such and yeah, I'm the best. You're not nothing without her. Nothing. And in the meantime, she just sits around and she's like, okay. You could be driving somewhere in a car. Everybody can relate to this. You, her, even the kids know y'all lost. You will not ask nobody for no direction. She'll be sitting there, babe, you want to stop over here in the 7-Eleven and ask somebody? No, I don't want to ask nobody. I know where I'm going. We're going to keep driving and we'll figure it out. I know which way I'm going. Can't tell you nothing. And she, okay, babe. She don't have no voice. Okay, babe. You be sitting around, you know, babe, are we going to go to dinner tonight? Are we going to, yeah, we're going to go when I finish doing, we're going to sit, we've been sitting 3 hours waiting on you to finish. Everybody hungry, can't say nothing. Don't want to offend you. Don't get me to talking. I'm gonna tell you the truth. These are the things. These are the things. She's gone underground. She's had to find ways to get through without making it seem like she's, you know, finding ways of getting through. Because it offends people. It's offensive. How dare you get through without me? Oh, you got through without me. Okay, you think you're better than me? Oh, you don't need me? All these kind of things. This right here is a prime example of it. Ain't nothing as old as this kind of stuff. Go Google it. Tree of life being guarded. All you got to do is Google it. Google it. It says it right here in the Bible. I put your mother away because of your transgressions. I had to put her away because you were abusing her. You were abusing her. But, you know, she is here as your helpmate, not your lesser. In all actuality, friend, she got you beat. She got you beat. But that's offensive to say. But it's the truth. And she has you beat. And until we can get to a place where we can really discuss these things and come to terms with the spirit that's allowing this mind state to be pervasive, she gonna keep having you beat. And no one's gonna get anywhere. And this does not mean that there are not women that are broken and that are destructive. This means that there are. There are broken, destructive women out there that have been broken. And when they enter into your life, they destroy everything. Just like there are broken and destructive men that are broken and destructive. And when they come into your life, they destroy everything because they're broken. Yet there are whole women, goodly women. And there are whole men and goodly men. It's my word for you today. Wanted to bring up the power of her. To all the women out there, you are so powerful. I make no excuses for that. You are powerful, friend. God created you in a way that there is God and there is you, friend. I'm here to tell you, you are so loved. You are necessary, and you know it. This is just something to encourage you and let you know to put a little spice in your step today while you're doing your stuff that you normally do for those you love. Because that's what we do. You are vitally important. Vitally. And God loves you. And Adam needs you. Keep going. This is my podcast for you all today. Just wanted to come on and drop something useful to you today. Protect your women. That's what you were created to do. You were the protectors. All men are protectors. You're the warriors. You're the front line. Whether you're her husband, you're her son, you're her brother, her cousin, her uncle, her nephew, whatever. That's who you are. Stand in that. And all the women, lean on the Spirit of God to heal you and direct you so that you stand in your full power and authority, because you are powerful, friend. You know it. You're loved more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.